This is a story about 2 amps and 1 amp needs to go. So I'm just unplugging the amp that needs to stay. Ironically, it just happens to be in the way, that's all. And we're going to move it to another place just for the time being. And today's job was to get this gigantic monster 7-channel out. It was a 50 kilogram job. It took 2 goes and a trolley of some sort. Take it to another room. There's plenty of room to turn this at the front with the logo, or like before with the sideways. So this is just upside down. We're trying to work out how to mount this, and just like last time, there's a little threaded bolt hole in these feet which makes it a bit easier. I can screw on my rubber table leg thingamajiggies and put a little inserted rubber thing on the mat that comes up. And then last time I put a side screw in between the 2 rubber parts, and that gives it, a tiny bit of vibration. Not a lot, but just a tiny bit. And under this 4th foot, because it doesn't really have a 4th foot, it's just their funny design. Taking off this rubber part, just put it in storage. But what I discovered is that their logo is hidden. I guess I just reuse that part. But you get used to this sort of stuff, like pulling apart stuff, even though it originally was revered by somebody who paid an exorbitant amount of money for it. Yeah, I don't mind pulling things apart a little bit. But this is just some sticky stuff. You can put that back on. So I was looking for these little cups to be the reverse holder screwed down, and they could be on here. This is the upside down amp, and then I couldn't find 3 of those in my pile of junk, but I did find 3 of these, and these could be inverse that go onto the mat board, and you can actually stuff a bit of more rubber in there when it's sitting there, and then just one side screw. Yeah, pretty cool. Made a quick template, bit of cardboard. This is all going to be rough because I don't care if I'm 1 or 2 centimeters out. So I've got my rough bit of cardboard. I used guesswork to get the first hole. Then I use this plastic to measure the distance from each hole. Put the holes in the cardboard. Same here. So that's the distance, blah blah blah. And now with this piece, this is the front right. This is upside down. Turn the cardboard over. Label it. Then I'll set it back here. Then I will drill pilot holes through those holes and go to the next step, which will be setting our anchor points like that, and etc. Also, I'm going to center to the center of these subs, which as far as I know is the center of the car, and this board is not centered, so don't go by the board, I'll go by the subs, and I might even move it 1 centimeter this way, because I have my battery compartment, which is meant to be serviceable. It's the inverter slash battery compartment. That is the messy version. Sorry for that. Now, there's my subs, 1 centimeter to the left. This side will be filled with cable loom And this side maybe you could get a sneak visual of the sub. So yeah, we'll do that. So taped out where the pilot holes would go through with a bit of texture, and then drill the pilots and pre-drill the feet. Just put a work screw into the feet, into the pilot holes, and we have a little test fit, and everything seemed to fit. And we're putting a little bit of extra foam inside the top feet, and then they'll be screwed down. It's all exciting here, a bit of a montage. Just one simple screw on the 3 points. This is just basically to stop the amp from taking off whenever you hit a speed bump too hard or some sort of pothole in the middle of a highway or something. But yeah, gravity does most of the work most of the time. And now we'll just connect it all back together. Yeah, had fun time listening to this in that configuration before we went for this full mount. It was just a clear night and day decision to keep it as the main source for the treble, high mid-range and low mid-range. Test run. It's not going to hang out like that, is it? Okay, we've got it into place. We slid it back, and you're having the privilege of seeing for the first time what I can't see. Have we got any magnet / amp touching? Maybe a few cables touching, but we'll work with that. Well, that's about it, folks. That was just a quick amp mounting video. And there's the trim piece just in place. It's not really covering a lot at the moment. It's a different size amp. And stuff moved around a bit, so it needs a bit of a trim. And maybe a bit more beauty panel work. So anyway, enjoy the fine looks of this quite rare Australian design amp, I think. It's a bit of a unicorn. There's a bit of a backstory to it. But I think the company was reacquired by someone else in Australia, and they're making more amps now.